To raise the issue of the medical scientists' strike this week. We know the health services are under severe strain, and this is really showing that. It's reported that 30,000 procedures will be cancelled this week due to the two-day strike. But the reality is that it's much greater than that. Another 14,000 outpatient appointments will be cancelled each day as a result of the strike. Thousands of inpatient procedures, day case elective procedures, maternity appointments, and all the routine GP testing appointments will also have to be cancelled. The strike is completely disabling the health service, and it just shows you the importance of this particular profession. We must be clear that it is doing that, and it's having serious consequences on patients right across the country. To give an indication of how serious it was, this morning on Morning Ireland, Tony Canavan, the CEO of the Saoilse Group, said that he was concerned about deteriorations in the conditions of inpatients in hospital, that they wouldn't be detected because of the lack of regular testing. Taoiseach, we can't go on with this, and certainly we can't countenance another three days of strike next week. And I don't believe the people that are on the picket line want to be on the picket line. They want a resolution to this. Patient safety has clearly been put at risk, huge negative impact on patients, some of whom have been waiting on waiting lists for many years, seeing long-awaited procedures being cancelled. The strike will cause further chaos with delayed diagnosis, delayed treatment, avoidable patient pain and suffering, and expanding waiting lists. We already have a problem there. Taoiseach, medical science are the hidden heroes of the health service, the people that patients never get to meet, but whose treatment and care are dependent on their hard work. Despite this, they're paid, as has been said, 8% less than biochemists, and they do broadly the same work as that profession, and in fact are paid less than laboratory aides, who have much less responsibility. Taoiseach, what's the government proposing as a means to resolve this dispute? We're being told, or you told us last week, that the Public Service Agreement Group had recommended that the dispute be referred to the WRC, and the MLSA have agreed to engage with the WRC, but have not agreed to lift the strike action. However, the union has said, and I'd repeat this, the union has said that neither the HSE nor the Department of Health has approached them with any meaningful proposal for or invitation to talks. Now, there has to be something to talk about to get the two sides engaged. So what can you tell us that you can do that will bring these two sides to the table? Why have the HSE or the Department of Health approach the MLSA with meaningful proposals that they can actually talk about? The apparatus of the state is fine, so long as there is something to engage on.
Time is up.
You might just tell us how you see this being resolved.
Please.
First of all, again, I thank the Deputy for raising the issue, and I acknowledge the disruption that is being caused as a result of the strike action. It is having an impact, and it will continue to have an impact on patients. I don't think anybody wants that. I don't think the MLAG want that either, to be fair, but it is having an impact. And so there is a very strong desire to get this issue resolved. What has been going on in terms of informal context is getting a basis for participation now, at this stage, following failed attempts in the last number of weeks through the WRC and through the Public Service Agreement Group, to get the basis right, if you like, for all parties to participate either in the WRC or in the Labour Court, which I believe could be the way forward in terms of getting a resolution to this dispute. It is a dispute of long standing, but in these situations always, there are always further implications, and the broader consideration of this has to be within that context also. In other words, people need to fully be aware of all the implications of any particular agreement in relation to a specific issue, particularly in the health service, and anybody involved in the health service would know that to be historically the case, and experience informs us of that a deal in one particular location of the health service can have repercussions across the entire service that may not have been envisaged at the outset. And I think the best way then to resolve an issue of that kind is to either use the WRC or the Labour Court so that the details could be hammered out and also ring-fenced to make sure that we can get a resolution to this that's in the best interest of all concerned. The medical scientists, the patients, and the public at large. And that's what government is endeavouring to do here. There's no dispute in relation to the need to get this resolved. We've provided funding to expand the numbers working. At the moment, I think we've about 2,135 whole-time equivalents in this sector. We want to expand that. We want to grow that by additional posts. And we want to create a framework and a basis to have a lasting resolution to this dispute.
Thank you. Debbie Murphy.
20% for medical scientists that are unfilled at the moment. And it appears that the pharma sector is finding no difficulty in attracting people with these qualifications, but that there's a reluctance to take up positions because of poor pay and because of lack of parity and respect, and indeed in relation to career progression. Taoiseach, will you make sure there is a formal invitation issued by the HSE and the Department of Health to the MLSA, and that there is a basis, a realistic basis for a resolution? I mean, we all understand that there is industrial apparatus and that must be used. We all understand that. But you have to have a basis and you have to have the formal invitation. Now, can you make sure a formal invitation is issued? And can you make sure that there is a basis for a resolution? Because there's no way and the other side are going to engage if there isn't a basis for discussion or for a resolution.
Taoiseach.
I take your point, but as you would know yourself, before the formal invitation issues, one would like to know that there's a basis for the formal invitation to be accepted. So there's lots of informal work and contact goes on all of the time between parties with a view to getting the right basis to facilitate participation in these mechanisms, be it LRC or the Labour Court. About half of the graduates each year would go to the health service coming out of the colleges. There's been an increase in the senior posts and specialist posts over the last 3 years, significant increase, and that's the way it should be. We want to continue to invest in the service, we are working to make sure that we can get a proper basis and a proper, an invitation process in place that would lead to participation by all concerned in the labour relations machinery of the state to get this dispute settled.
Taoiseach.
First of all, the